I am so excited to have Dr. Yolanda Rankin with us today. Dr. Rankin, thank you for being here, and could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Yolanda Rankin. I am an assistant professor in the School of Information at Florida State University. My PhD is in computer science, so I am a computer scientist by training. How did I end up in the field of computer science? Well, short story, I was originally a mathematics major in undergraduate school. And so I come from the state of Mississippi, small institution of historically Black college known as Tougaloo College. And at that school, they didn't have a computer science department, but they had a minor in computer science. And I took a programming class my freshman year, and I loved it. And so this created, I guess you could say, energy and drive and passion for coding that once I finished my undergraduate degree, I decided to explore it as a degree for master's in computer science. And that led to a whole new career opportunities that I could never have imagined back when I first started undergraduate when I was 18 years old. So that's sort of the short story of it, but yes.
Great. So how do you explain to the general public what you do for your career?
Good question. So the way that I like to think of myself, I care about that intersection between technology and people. My specific area of expertise is human-computer interaction. And I'll stress that, human-computer interaction. So I care about that intersection where people use technology to solve some of society's most pressing problems. In my Pacific Research Lab, we look at how technology can solve issues such as broadening participation in computing, meaning that there are groups of people that are typically not represented in large numbers. And one of those groups happens to be Black women. I am a Black woman. And of course, that is relevant because women overall are underrepresented in the field of computing. And so this is something that Sci Girls would care about. I care about all women being represented, and I also care about Black women also being represented in this space. So one of my research projects is looking at ways that we can devise pedagogy. And so those are learning strategies to help ensure that women come into these intro level computer courses and they can excel and feel like they belong in this space. And believe me, women belong in computing. And so I'm a huge advocate of that. And I do a lot of research in which I look at ways in which women have strategies for coping and surviving those tough courses, because let's face it, not everything is easy, but you got to get through it. I look at ways in which we have mentorship and those practices that allow us to effectively help others through those tough times. I also look at ways that we support one another. And so these strategies can involve everything from social networks and use of social media to also having a network of role models that can guide you through not just the aspects of learning, but also how to navigate professional development, how to develop your soft skills, your leadership skills. All of these things are important. So when people think about computer science, or computing is a term we can use more broadly, it's not just about coding. So now I'm going to take you back to that piece I first started out with about human-computer interaction. So one of the ways that I combine my interest in, of course, getting women to participate in broadening computing is having them to be the ones to conceptualize how can we design technology to fulfill a specific need. So one of my areas is gaming. And I looked explicitly at how students can come up with ideas for the kind of games that want to influence them to want to learn, to be excited about learning. And one of our projects is looking at games for language learning. And so I've been working with groups in the local Tallahassee area to understand what kids think about games, because we all play games, right? We play board games, some play video games. I help them to be creative and think about, if I want to learn, say, how to speak Spanish, how might a game help me to do that? And so they are involved in every aspect of that game design process. They come up with these ideas, they put them on paper, they act them out, role play, how the game interactions would be, the learning activities, they choose the words for vocabulary in Spanish, and before you know it, eventually we have a prototype. And so a prototype is not necessarily something that you would necessarily play on your phone or on your computer, but it's a paper-based version of that game. You can think of it like a board game, if you will. We build it out, they play the game, they test out the rules, they see if they make sense, they play around with ideas about character or the story. All of these are required to create an interesting game that hopefully helps you learn Spanish. And that's just one of the projects that I do.
I love that. I love that the youth are designing it and have the agency. The next question is, how did you first become interested in, you said women are underrepresented, Black women are underrepresented. How did you become interested in computer science or computing?
So I'm gonna go back to that first class. I came into undergraduate school, by the way, undecided. I loved everything. I'm probably what you call a lifelong learner. You show me something, I'm like, oh, that's interesting, and I'll dibble and dabble. But in this particular class, the instructor was introducing us to Pascal. So this tells you how old I am. I'm very old. But Pascal was the language back then. And so in this class, we were tasked with writing our first programming language. And several of us were in the lab. I mean, we were in the lab like after midnight, and we could not get our code to work. And code, think of that as lines of instructions in a particular programming language. In this case, Pascal is the programming language. We couldn't get it to work. So after struggling, we went and sat down with the instructor. And we said, "Oh my God, this is not working." We were so discouraged, and she actually taught us how to think through line by line what our code was actually doing. We call that tracing your code. And as a result, I began to go, "Oh, this is very logical. I'm a logical person. I like this. This makes me feel good, and I think I can do this." And so I took more and more programming courses. And remember that my institution did not have a CS major, but I minored in computer science, and the math was really important because it helped me to be a better student in the computer science class. That logical thinking again, thinking through. So I ended up majoring in mathematics and minoring in computer science. And that's really how I fell into it. It was a nice match. That was me playing around, of course, and liking it. So that's how I discovered it.
That's awesome. So the next question is, what advice do you have for middle school and high school girls who might be interested in computer science or just STEM in general?
I say, do not sell yourself short. You have a lot to offer. And I say that because you sometimes think that because you're only 12, 13, or you're only 15, 16, that you're like, oh, I don't really know what I'm doing. That's the process of learning. We all find ourselves an expert. In fact, I still feel that way today. And I've been doing this for more than 20 something years, but that's a good thing. You have a lot to offer. Your ideas are valuable. So just invest in the fact that you have something to offer and believe that and follow through with that. And so don't be afraid to express your opinions and your ideas. You have a voice, and we need that voice more now than ever, especially in fields of science and technology where we're not represented, because it's those voices that actually spark creativity, innovation, and I say that those are sparks of genius. And we all have that within us. And I want to see more women express that and use that. That's my advice.
Wonderful. I love that advice. That's the end of my questions. Is there anything you wanted to add or any closing comments that you have?
We need more girls in computer science. Please come join us. I also want to say this one thing. Computing is more than just coding. I know that for some people, this can be a scary idea. Some people love it and they gravitate towards coding. My work, I say game design because I'm not heavily invested in coding. Yes, I can code, but my interest lies in, again, people in technology and designing those technologies. So if coding is not your thing, that doesn't mean that computer science is not for you. It simply means that that's just not the specific area. We have a range of things you can study: cybersecurity, networking, artificial intelligence. So not everything is about coding. So explore, get out there and see what we have to offer. And you may just find that there's something in it for you. So those are my last words.
Thank you so much. And thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me again. And I wish to see more and more women in computing. Awesome. Thank you.